You're listening to the Known Legacy Podcast, brought to you by Known Legacy Ministries. For more information, go to knownlegacy.org. Now here's your hosts, Bill and Travis.
Such a horrible sound. Welcome to Known Legacy Podcast, where Bill slurps coffee into the microphone right as we start.
It's good. I want to be one of those voice actors, and this is my acting.
Folgers. It's morning in your cup.
It's like Christmas every day.
Every day. Hey, everyone. My name's Travis. I'm doing the producer role today. Kyle is taking the day off, much-deserved day off, and Bill's over there on the other side. So, good morning, Bill.
You know how he did that, everybody? Like, he's doing all the work. He's like, and Bill's on the other side. That's what you said. And Bill is sitting there doing nothing, slurping coffee.
I'm sweating over here. I'm
You're
working.
dying. We're so grateful for you, Travis, because we wouldn't be able to do this without you. Because if you handed me all this
trust
equipment,
me,
I'd be a lost cause.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
Be
But anyways,
lost cause.
Known Legacy Podcast. We're so happy you guys are here with us this morning, and thank you guys so much for checking us out. You can always check us out online. We're on the YouTubes. We are on Instagram, and we are on Facebook, which is fantastic. Check us out there if you want to give us a
We're not
review.
really on the Twitter machine, but it is what it is.
That's all political. We don't.
It is very political.
We're not going to fit in there because this is not a political podcast. This is a spiritual podcast.
Spiritual podcast
about men waking up, gearing up, and coming alive.
Amen. That's what our goal is. That's our desire today.
Email is info@knownlegacy.org, and two big events coming up. The first event is the date night. Bill, tell us about the
September
date night.
13th, 6:30 p.m. You're going to want to be there. We have a comedian coming in. Travis Krim is hilarious. See, look at you can sip, too. Look at that.
I think I'm joking.
Me and Travis are going to be there. We're going to have a lot of fun, so make sure you sign up. We'll put some links of that inside the notes for this podcast, but make sure you go to knownlegacy.org. You can sign up to both that and our men's retreat.
Our men's retreat, which is coming up the next weekend, which is just for bros out at Arrowhead Camp, I believe, in the DFW area.
Yep.
It is going to be a fantastic, it's going to be an amazing weekend. I think we've almost doubled from what we did last year, which is awesome, and we are excited. Limited space, particularly on if you want to sleep in a bed by yourself. Not in your bed. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase.
Time out, yeah.
We're not sharing beds.
You can have your own bed either way.
You get your own bed at this men's retreat. That's not the question. If you're a snorer and you want your own room, or you don't want to sleep with someone who is a snorer, that's what it is. Some rooms have one bed, some rooms have two beds.
Two beds.
That's all it is.
Yes.
Whew. It's going to be a day, man. It's going to be a day.
It's okay,
Bill.
though. We got through it. We're getting through it. We're doing really, really good. So make sure you sign up to those events. Again, thanks for listening. Hey, if you're new here, follow, like us, and share this with a friend, because we want to build our community. We want to encourage other men and women to wake up, gear up, and come alive. And we are so thankful for you taking the time to listen to us today. We're excited about our guest today. Before that, we have the question of the day, which is...
The question of the day.
We need to get like an intro music for that.
That is the intro music. I think I just copyright Travis Harchin. That's it. 10%. That's all I need. Copyright. Not copyright. Question of the day.
We are a hot mess today. Welcome to the show. You guys are getting this is like Known Legacy in the Raw or something. I don't know. But anyways, question of the day is, if you could bring back something from your childhood,
Okay.
whether like a toy or an item that you lost, what would you bring now?
I'd bring back my grandfather. I'm kidding.
I was like, wait, time out. He's not. This is weird.
Okay, so it's two part. I would bring back my bike, not because my bike was exceptional or amazing or anything else, but what my bike represented when I was a kid was this group of guys that we would ride around the neighborhood like for hours during the summertime. And we would just go up to the park and we'd make up baseball games, or we'd go over to the woods and we'd explore. And it was just like the epitome of freedom and the epitome of like being a kid. And, knowing when the street lights come on, you got to go home, and, moms would start calling around 6 o'clock, dinner times, and it just, all of it would like, so I just want that bike back, and I want everything that came with that bike to just for a week to be that kid and not have to worry about anything.
Well, it's funny you say that, because that is literally what I was thinking when I thought about this, was like, because I feel like that represented childhood.
Yes.
Like,
yeah, it represents so much.
Like I went back to my father's house this year, where he still lives in the same house that I grew up in, which is crazy, and which is a lot smaller than I thought it was. Because when I was a kid, you could do all these kind of fun things, but down the street, because we had these 4 little blocks. I think we've talked about that before. But there was this one house right near us that had a hill, and they've actually, I saw it at when I was there. They turned it into like a planter. But before, it was just a hill. And so you could kind of jump up it and land back on the street. You had just enough air to land back on the street. And you felt so cool.
And when you were a kid, you felt like you were going miles in the air.
And we were like 2 inches off the ground. You know what I'm saying?
For like a millisecond.
Exactly.
But that weightlessness was
it was so cool.
So amazing.
And another thing, I'm going to say 2 things. Is I used to be able to juggle really, really well.
Stop it.
I'm not joking.
How are you? We've been doing this 7 years, and I'm just finding this out
Dude,
now.
I can juggle and eat an apple while I juggle.
I think next podcast we're going to watch Bill juggle and eat an apple.
So there was this one time I was at scout camp, and I juggled some like eggs and everything. And I don't know why they did this. It's so random. Ronald McDonald showed up.
What?
Yes, they had Ronald McDonald show up.
The real Ronald?
Ronald McDonald, the real one, the only one who's ever existed. And he came in.
He was such a scary dude.
He was, and he, and I'm not sure if I still have these. That's why I'm trying to figure out. But he saw me juggle, and he gave me 3 juggling pins, like pins to juggle. And I wish I could bring those back, because I literally had them I tried them, and I was like, am I going to be a dork if I keep doing this? And I kind of put them away, but I think I would bring those back too, because I really would love to try that.
You know what? Honestly, I think a rule in life is, if a scary clown gives you gifts, it's best to just put them away. It's not a gift you need to invest in.
You're right. It was right around the time when I read It, and so I probably didn't want them anyways at that point.
From red balloons to juggling clubs, just run.
Just say no. Just say no.
Just run.
Oh, anyways, we're so glad to have our guest, Matt Eachus, on, pastor of Newtown Road. Matt, good to have you on here today, man. Thank you so much for being here. And so based
Matt's
on
now questioning all of his decisions
why did I
today.
get on here today? What's going on?
I could be doing
I'm
Bible studies.
wondering. I'm like, I feel sorry for Travis. I mean, God, your poor grandfather, may he rest in peace. And this I'm like, this is definitely the coolest meeting on my schedule this week.
That'll work. We'll do it. Oh my gosh. So you, man, what about you? If you could bring something back from your childhood, maybe that's not a scary clown, but if it is, feel free to share it. But what would you bring back?
Okay, this is going to be a little bit interesting. I had a cassette tape, Bruce Springsteen's "Born in the USA," and when I was 8 years old or 7 years old, I guess, my parents bought me "Born in the USA," and I listened that thing to death until people at our church found out and told my parents they were evil, so they had to get rid of it. But
the good old days.
That cassette tape kind of awakened me to the boss, and I have an obsession with Springsteen to this day, and just love him so much. So I would definitely have that, just because of what it represented. It like I grew up in a small town, and that edgy Rust Belt kind of ring to "Born in the USA" just kind of resonated with me.
That was a good song, man. That was a good song.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man,
I won't share my take on Bruce Springsteen.
I know where we lean. I know where his, but I get his heart, and I'm excited about that. So.
No. I tried. I have a buddy of mine who is like, that is the apex of all musicians, is Bruce Springsteen. So anytime we get together, we're listening to Bruce Springsteen. And my wife and I were at the gym one time, and Bruce came on. The boss. Okay, the boss comes on. And I can't remember what I'm doing, but I stopped what I was doing. I went over to my wife and I said, this is a take that's not going to make anyone happy, but I think he's overrated. And she's like, don't share that with anyone. So anyways, I just shared it with
Do you want to leave now, or are you good with still doing this podcast with us, or no?
But that song was
I'm okay.
That song was like a pinnacle song for that time. And then you had John Cougar Mellencamp with Little Pink Houses coming on. And, Little Ditty about Jack and Diane.
Oh, man. We're singing here.
You don't even know the song, Bill?
They're 2 American kids growing up in the heartland.
Amen.
Isn't that it?
Wow.
That is it.
Oh, that's it. That was
I knew it. I knew it.
But no singing.
But was that John Mellencamp or John Cougar Mellencamp or John Cougar? Like, I just don't know which one he was at the time. We got to figure that out.
He's gone through some transformations. We're going to give him some time.
The artist formerly known as John Cougar.
Hey, fun story. John Mellencamp married one of his first wives was a girl who grew up in my hometown.
No way. No way.
Did you know her?
No, of course not. No. But I'm way too, Travis, I am way too young to know John Cougar's first,
that's true,
second, third wife, whatever she was.
You know, I should have put the pieces together because you're the guy that came from a family that Bruce Springsteen was the devil, and you couldn't listen to him. Why would I think you're hanging out with someone who's going to marry John
Cougar? The Coug. Yes. The Coug. Oh, man. Well, hey, now that we've gone off the rails completely, man, we're so glad to have you on. Man,
great.
So just to give you a little bit of backstory, I have a lot of respect for Matt. Matt's the guy that when I see him, I'm like, why didn't we get a chance to do ministry for 20 years together? I love this guy. I love his heart. The church that Matt leads, I won't take all your fire, Matt, but I want to share this. The church that Matt leads is the place where I came to know Christ in. And so, so me and Matt met because he took over for the youth ministry when I left to go, whatever this crazy adventure has been for 20 years, to leave and go to Midland, Texas. But I met this guy, and I'm like, man, I wish we could have had years together. And that's why I wanted to get him on the podcast, because this is a man of God who loves the Lord. Man, he loves his people. He shepherds them well. And so, Matt, share some more of your story about who you are and where you came from and all that kind of good stuff with our listeners.
Well, thanks, Bill. Thanks, Travis. I grew up in southeast Pennsylvania, outside of Philadelphia, in a little small farming and industrial town called Boyertown. Got saved when I was 16 years old. My parents, I grew up in like a fundamentalist Baptist church, but man, those people love the Lord and they love their Bibles and they loved our community and they loved me. And so I came to faith in Christ at 16 years old at one of those church camp revivals. There was a message, a message that I would never preach. It was called Hell, a Place You Ought to Know in Case You're going to Go. And this guy was fired.
Wow.
Yeah, he was fired up. I mean, it was very typical of that era. But the Lord used that message just to awaken me and realize, man, my parents' faith wasn't mine, and I needed to do something personal for all of that. So I tell people all the time, at 16 years old, man, I had heard the gospel a million times. I didn't need anybody to lead me in it. I just walked out of a little chapel and I laid down under a tree on a hillside and cried my way into the arms of Jesus. And and my life hasn't been the same since. It was been a pretty wild ride. I studied ministry at Liberty in Lynchburg, Virginia, and when I graduated from there, I started working in youth ministry at a place called Ridgeview Baptist in Stewart's Draft, Virginia, which is a pretty small town close to Lynchburg. I had some friends there and served there for a few years and really loved youth ministry, loved learning about ministry. I was really young, really green, didn't have a clue what I was doing. And then got a call one day. I was out, Bill, I don't know if you know this, man, I was out painting a house because I was working on the side because I was a youth pastor. So I was working on the side painting houses. And I got a call from Bill and I. We have a mutual friend named Scott who was working here. And he said, hey, we're looking for a new youth pastor. Would you be interested? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. And got to talk to the senior pastor here, a guy named Duke. And I think he's been on your podcast.
Oh, right? Yeah, various times. We love that dude.
Yeah. So I got to talk to Duke and hung out with him on the phone for a little bit. And I was like, man, I really need to meet this guy. And so we came up here, fell in love with Duke, fell in love with the church, fell in love with the area. And in September 2005, we moved up here to do youth ministry. And that was my second tour in youth ministry. And
that's what they feel like. They do feel like tours. Let's be honest.
It's pretty wild. Yeah. And, 20 years later, we're still here. Just the same church, same group of people mostly, and just loving the Lord and grinding it out.
So I know I started off in youth ministry as well. And the adventures of youth ministry, they leave marks. They leave some marks.
They tend to.
Yeah.
How long were you in youth ministry? And then, when did you begin to understand or discover God's calling for something beyond youth ministry? Because honestly, youth ministry to a lot is a young man's game. It's really hard to do youth ministry well when you got young kids yourself, because your time to connect with kids is from 3 to 8 at night. And your time to connect with your family becomes 3 to 8 at night and on the weekends. And so there's a lot of conflict that can happen there. So what was that journey like for you, and how did you come to peace with my season in youth ministry is done, and the next journey or the next adventure is ahead?
That's a great question. Yeah, I was doing youth ministry for a total of about 8 years, almost 9 years, I think. My first stint in youth ministry, I felt a little overmatched, of course, because you never really know what you're doing. But then I got my feet under me, and I felt like, I can handle this. I can do this. And then when I moved here to New York and really started to grow in like a mentoring relationship with Duke, that's when kind of that holy discontentment started to like well up, and I got to the point where the things that I was really gifted in ministry, the things that the church was affirming, like the Spirit was working through God's people to affirm in me these gifts. It was always in like leadership and teaching, and I remember I was doing a study through the book of Hebrews, and I got to that part where the author says, I have so much more to tell you, but you're not ready. And I was teaching a group of students, and I just felt like in that moment, like, man, I feel like that's me. I feel like there's more in here that has to come out, but I can't quite share it here. Yeah. And so it was probably, I was probably about 28, 29 years old when I started to realize, I think God's calling me to do more of a teaching and leadership role. Lead pastoring. I thought about church planting, stuff like that. But it was just the affirmation of the Spirit through God's people that really helped me go for it,
Wow. No, I love it. So okay. So then you realize, hey, I'm supposed to do this. Where did the wrestle come in? Like, what was the next step for that? Like, did you kind of say, did you start talking to people, or did you just kind of leave it to the Lord? Like, what was your process in that? Because I think there's a lot of people that are like, I feel like I'm supposed to do the next thing, but how do I practically start to walk down that road?
Yeah, it gets kind of tough, because if you're at a church and you want to be the lead guy, there's only one of those on staff, and so.
Are you sure? And typically, you can't have that conversation with him. Hey, I'm coming for your job.
Yeah,
Fair.
So that's tough. But one of the things that Duke did really well, and he was probably in his 50s at the time, and we were still in our 20s. We would get together for mentoring meetings and stuff, and he did a really good job kind of calling out what he saw in us. And kind of helping us give a voice to that stirring in us. And so, he was the first one. He was the first spiritual authority in my life who said to me, I don't see you doing youth ministry forever. I think he said it. You have too much preach in you, son. There's too much burning in there.
Yeah.
To just focus on teenagers. And he was the first one that said, I could see you being a lead pastor or a teaching pastor. And that was, years before our transition, but he was the one that initiated that conversation and kind of gave me freedom to explore those gifts. But then he also wasn't intimidated by that. And he gave me a platform. He let me preach multiple times a year.
Such a good man.
I mean, preaching a lot actually for him while we were here. So he really was helpful in calling that out.
So there's always a unique dance and conversations that happen with our spouses when we are feeling that God's calling us to a transition or a change.
He's already laughing. He's like, yeah.
So how'd those conversations go with your lovely bride? And introduce her to us. So that, tell us about your family a little bit too.
Yeah, my wife's name's Amanda. We met in college at Liberty. We joke that Johnny Cash song, we got married in a fever. We dated for like 3 months. We were engaged for 3 months, and we got married. And 24 years later,
when you know, you know. When you know, you know.
Man. That's it, man. So we're still here. She always saw in me more than I could see in myself. And so it wasn't surprising to her at all to know that I had these stirrings for teaching ministry or lead pastoral ministry. That wasn't surprising to her at all. I tell you, the hard part was convincing her that New York was going to be where we built our home. She's from the South. She's from Tennessee. We are 13 hours by car away from her family.
Ooh,
and she's an only child. And so convincing her that we were living in New York was the hard part. And actually, that was like probably one of my biggest marriage failures, was that it wasn't like an ongoing, lengthy, prayerful conversation. It was oh my gosh, guess what just happened at work today? I have to tell you this. We're going to stay here forever.
Oh.
And because, I did stupid stuff like that at the time. And it wasn't quite that abrupt.
We all did. We've all done that, right?
We should start another podcast. The stupid stuff I've done.
The stupid things we've done.
Yeah.
So how'd she process that, and how did she how'd she process that?
You know what? It's a statement of her love for the Lord and her love for our church. I mean, it has been. I mean, 20 years later, it's still hard. It's still hard being so far away from family. Still hard for our kids. Still hard for just dealing with the family dynamics of all that. But she loved our people. She gave herself to serving our people and to serving me so that I could serve our people. Because any church of any size, if your pastor is an active minister and he's available in your life, that's because somebody in his life is holding down the fort. And so she just took that role on and ran with it and did an exceptional job supporting me as I supported our people.
That's awesome. How about kids? What were your kids like? And I know New York is, man, that's an interesting state to live in. So what was it like for your kids to process through that?
Oh, yeah, well, my kids were really young, so they didn't have a choice and they didn't know any better. When we arrived here in New York, my oldest, who is going to turn 21 next month, my oldest was only a year old. And so we had 3 of our kids here in New York. They only have ever known, they don't remember my youth ministry days. They've only ever known me as their pastor.
Right.
And so I hear a lot of horror stories about pastors' kids. And I've known pastors' kids who really had a rough go. Our church has been so good to my kids and to my family. And they love it here. My oldest was interning here this summer as she's home from college. They love it here.
That's awesome. So you mentioned pastors' kids, and we this is kind of a theme that comes up from time to time because we do interview a lot of pastors. As a senior pastor and kind of the shepherd of the flock, what encouragement would you have for dads as they're trying to shepherd their kids in their faith? Particularly, let's say there's a kid that is somewhat rebellious or somewhat turned off by the faith or somewhat disillusioned by the faith for whatever reason. What would you encourage them with?
That's really good. 2 things, really. You can't take somebody where you've not gone yourself.
Amen.
And so spiritual dads, if you're going to be a dad who is worth your salt, if you're going to be a dad who is doing the work of gospel parenting, you've got to be a dad whose heart and mind are being formed and saturated by Jesus. Like, you've got to make sure that that's a priority in your own life. And the second thing I would say is, the heavenly God reveals himself to us as a father, and as an earthly dad, sometimes you just got to deal with your kids' fits and their tantrums. And God the Father is strong enough to handle all of the emotions and all the doubts and all the fears and all the arguments of your kid, and give your son, especially your daughter, give them the freedom to be a human person wrestling with the promises of God and eternal things. Like, I would say just give them that patience, but it's not the winsomeness of your argument that's going to win your kid's heart. It's the winsomeness of your persistence in love. That moves the needle. You're not going to argue your kid into the kingdom of heaven.
Nope.
You're gonna love them there, right?
Well, and I think as you're sharing that, the story that comes to mind is the prodigal son, and we always talk about the love moment of the prodigal son is when the dad will run back to the son. But I think honestly, the most sacrificial love moment is when the dad lets him go. And it's like, okay, this is your life, this is your decision. I will give you the inheritance that is yours. I'm going to let you go. And he doesn't continue to beat the dead horse. He doesn't continue to pursue them or whatever. He just go, because he knew, I think instinctively, the world's going to eat you up and spit you out. Like you think your philosophy and your worldview is going to survive and is going to serve you well. It's not. And so I will be here with a relationship that's ready to invest in you whenever the world spits you out. And I think that's kind of what you're talking about with kids is like if your kid's struggling with it, there's a pursuit that you can have, but there's also this permission that you can give to say, you know what, maybe you need to go. And I'm going to trust God because God loves you more than I do. I'm going to trust that he's not done with you yet. I'm going to let you go. And I'm going to just see what God and the Spirit and the world does to you. And whenever you're ready, I am here for you. And I think that's so hard to do, but so important.
Yeah. I love that you talked about the value of a foundation, the importance of, and even if dads are out there and like, man, I haven't been that guy. Like today is a great day to start.
Yep.
Yeah.
And start to put that foundation in. But I love that you did that with them and kind of allowed them to have that opportunity and kind of shepherd them through that. Like you can't bring them where you currently aren't, or have never been. I love that. And I think there's something important about that. So guys, this is that wake up call we talk about. Man, it's that time to say your impact matters more than anybody else. And I love, especially, and I'm a little bit biased to those who are in ministry, that the enemy's like, I really, really, really hate them.
Yeah.
Like they're on the front line, so I'm going to just try and destroy their family, their kids, put that kind of brokenness between them and their spouse. And so, but I think being diligent in those, I love that you're sharing that about the value of it. And I think there's something important about that, but then it also makes me think about as you transitioned from youth pastor to senior pastor, it sounds like you had a healthy leader.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't. And so I guess I'm trying to figure out, like, what's some encouragement you would say to the lead pastor who's out there listening, who's maybe in his 60s, who's like, I have to pass this off. I mean, it's not their kingdom, although sadly
too many think it is. What would be your encouragement to those guys to say, hey, this is what you should do to prepare your heart for the next generation?
Yeah,
thoughts on that?
That's really good. Yeah, a couple of things. I'm in my my late 40s. My kids would let you know I'm in my late 40s now. 47.
We were born in the 1900s. That's all.
That's
all I
right.
have to say.
That's right. Yeah, and so I'm starting to think about legacy. I'm starting to think about the transitional times and how many more years before we start looking for that replacement and stuff like that. There's a couple things that I think would be really helpful. Some that I saw from Duke and some that I just see as warnings from my own heart. So all of us in ministry, we have a temporary post here, right? Like I am not eternally going to be Pastor Matt. I'm not. And so my post, my ministry calling, my assignment has been sacred and beautiful and wonderful, but in the eyes of God, I'm more than my post, and I'm more than my job description, or the ministry tasks that I kick out each week that serve people. So part of the struggle, I think, guys like I have, is trying to envision life where I'm not the loudest voice in the room or the most honored person in the room. And there's something in us. There's something in us that doesn't want to give that up.
Yep.
It took a long time to earn that. I don't want to hand that off. But what Duke did really well, and I think is the key to the way this transition rolled out, was he gave away that influence and he shared it with me and he validated me in the eyes of our people. Because I was 32 and I had never led anything other than a youth ministry. And he handed me the reins to this church that he founded, And so the way that worked so well was in a sense of his humility of saying, the greatest gift I can give this church is to set it on a foundation that it can last long beyond me. Mm-hmm. And he saw the danger of building a ministry so focused on his personality and his giftedness. He saw that very early. And so he started to hire guys that were different than him and share ministry with them. And so he modeled that for me in a way I think that will prepare me. But I think those older guys, I think you don't want to say it this way, but you got to get over yourself. Like you're not the most important person in the room.
Well said.
you have this really special sacred gift to steward for a season.
Yep.
And then you have to hand it off to somebody. And so humble yourself and begin looking for somebody who, prepare your church for it, prepare your leadership teams for it too.
I like that, leadership teams. You said that because what's some encouragement you would say about the leadership team that he's surrounded by because I know that it wasn't just him in the transition, it wasn't just you. There were a lot more in the conversation. Tell some positives from that, some things that you would encourage churches that are walking through those kind of transitions. What would you say to them about their leadership teams and things like that as well?
Yeah, we believe, and I'm not going to start a debate with anybody, but we believe in the biblical office of elder, and so we use a team of elders, and those guys are not businessmen. Some of them own businesses, but that's not why they're there, and they're not on the team because they're really super successful in the eyes of this world. They're on the team because God called them, equipped them to help shepherd and pastor the people of our church and lead them. And so when we come to these decisions, we lean on our elder team to work through that together because God is using them to minister to the people, right? And so I think for a pastor who is preparing a transition, if he wants it to be successful and fruitful, he's going to have to include the other stakeholders in the leadership structure of the church, whether that's your deacons, your elders, whatever denominational group you're working with, and begin a long lead up into that transitional period where they're owning this transition and they're carrying the vision. Because if it's going to be successful after the outgoing pastor's gone, it's going to be those guys who are providing the stability for the newer, younger pastor.
Yep.
And so it can't. I think oftentimes we allow the leadership teams to kind of be removed from that.
Yep.
And it's the pastor's decision and the next pastor. And so he leaves, this new guy comes, but he doesn't have friends to help hold the line, So I think you have to include the leadership team in probably earlier than you're anticipating and give them more responsibility.
No, that's awesome.
Love it.
Awesome. I think there's something valuable like finding the right team to work with you. But that really does rise and fall on that. Like everything rises and falls on leadership.
Yeah.
So the value of that's awesome. And so, so now you had that transition. How many years has it been since you guys have made I would say, because one of the reasons why I wanted you on is it's probably one of the healthiest transitions I've ever seen in church ministry.
Praise the Lord.
I've seen Duke and Matt take this on to kind of get a front row seat from the cheap seats, if I can say that, to see you guys and knowing Duke's heart. I mean, he's an anomaly anyways, but I think he's an anomaly because all he does is what Jesus wants him to do.
Right.
Yeah. And I don't mean that, and he's not boasting that. I'm saying that from him.
No.
So I love that. So I know those are also big, big shoes to fill. And I really do. I will say this with all integrity. You've done a really good job.
Well done,
doing
sir.
that. You really
Praise
have.
the Lord.
So how long have you been the lead pastor at Newtown? I almost said the other
Temple
church.
Baptist. Yeah, that's okay. I do too sometimes.
It's funny when I was up there speaking, I said Temple Newtown Baptist Road. I don't know. It was like some weird road. Anyways,
I love it.
But yeah,
it is. I mean, that's our story. I've been actually since it's been 15 years this summer.
Wow.
I closed my eyes and opened them, and I was like, "Whoa, what just happened?" 15 years in this seat. And probably it feels so like it happened so fast, probably because of PTSD. I think I blocked out most of it. The first few years were obviously the hardest. These last few years have been the sweetest. I can see why people want to stay for a long time because, man, it's the real, like the most enjoyable, lasting fruit. I mean, doesn't come right away. But those early years, I was 32 years old. It was the day after my 32nd birthday that we had the transition service, and you don't know what you don't know. I had a ton of energy. And I had a lot of persuasion. I have a very strong and stubborn personality. And so I basically said, well, I'm just going to use all these gifts that have gotten me to this point. We're going to make it work. And those early days were a whole lot of fits and starts and a lot of stumbling and a lot of frustration on my part. Duke was great. I almost had a breakdown, but Duke was great.
It sounds like it's a lot of humility in the process, a lot of abiding in Christ, and not being afraid to do something. Like courage is the word that I would use. There was a lot of courage. You might say stubbornness, but courage to do things and to try things. And when it doesn't work out, quickly pivot and apologize and move forward. And I think those are skills that are learned in youth ministry that when learned well, serve well as you continue to serve within the church. So, Matt, it's been a pleasure having this conversation.
It's been awesome
today,
having you on,
Thank you
man.
so much, brother.
And before we jump into our other segment, any final thoughts that you'd want to share about this? Because we're going to have you on again. I want to talk to you more about some other things. But, man, any final thoughts about what we've talked about today? Encouragement or bites of wisdom that you'd like to share?
Yeah, I think one of the things that really stands out this morning, guys, is that encouragement to young dads trying to lead their families. Your kids aren't expecting you to be a theologian, and God isn't requiring you to be a pastor or a theologian. You literally just have to be like a step ahead of them on the journey, and say, hey guys, look what I found. I found this. And so like Bill said, if you've been struggling to get started, open up your Bible app today and just read a chapter of the Psalms and meditate on what it means to be planted by the streams of water and your fruit doesn't wither, and just read Psalm 1 and meditate on that, and then talk to your kids tonight and say, guys, look what I found. But you don't have to know all the answers. You just kind of stumble your way through it with them and be honest about that. So just really encourage men, honestly, I think if the men in our churches would love the Lord Jesus with all their heart, soul, mind, and strength, man, their families would follow suit, and the world would be a different place. So just keep grinding. Don't give up. Keep grinding.
You don't need all the answers, but you need to know the one who does, and his name is Jesus.
Yeah.
Amen.
So we make it so difficult.
We do.
That's the truth.
And the words of one of my favorites, I'm not a smart man. So just do what you know to do.
I know what love is.
I know what love is.
And I do think there's something the powerful, like we think it's all in the words, and sometimes so having our kids just see us struggle with it, and having our kids see an authentic faith of not feeling it's a beautiful thing. So well done, man. Thank you so much, brother.
Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, dude, so this moves us into our Fast Five. There it is. I love it. That's awesome.
I can't believe I had to push that button today.
I know you hate that button.
I do.
With all that's in you, there's a disdain that you hate for that. So, Fast Five, Matt. So, who do you most admire and why?
Okay, so I have the preacher. I'm a pastor, so this guy's going to have to be a preacher. I really admire Alistair Begg out of Parkside Church in Ohio. I've listened to him a ton. I've read a lot of his stuff. I've attended a lot of his conferences. He just retired from ministry, and all these years there just hasn't been scandal, and he doesn't get caught up in the fluff and the cultural garbage. He just preaches the Bible and loves people, and I have found him to be very encouraging. So the older I get, the more I admire people who just put their hand to the plow and just didn't look back.
I just like his accent. I mean, he's a great theologian too, but I could listen to him read a cookbook to me and put me to sleep.
You're like, exactly. It's amazing. I almost did it, and I was like, I'm going to stop right now because yes, great.
I want to, but I'm like, I would do no service to it.
Bill, you do a very good Scottishman. So I mean,
I do a good Scottishman. Absolutely, I do it. Duke, every time I have Duke on, he's like, can you do the Scottish guy? Absolutely. Oh man. All right, number 2. No, where would you like to go for a vacation with you or your family, or you and your wife?
Okay. So if it's me and my wife, I want to go to the Caribbean, and I want to sit on a beach somewhere and do nothing for 2 weeks while some nice young gentleman brings me chips and salsa. Right? I just want to do nothing and soak up the sun. Right? But if it's me, I want to take a Reformation tour around Europe, and I want to go to France, and I want to go to Germany, and I just want to see these places where Luther and Calvin and Zwingli lived and worked, and so that would be really fun for me. And argued and fought.
Yes,
and we need that in our church again. Just a little side. I think our church needs some Diet of Worms action where we just get in a room. And it's just fisticuffs, and we just and let everyone listen, and they decide what they need to decide. Let's do it.
That sounds like a plan.
If you want to start that right now, we could just start arguing about stuff.
No,
we can.
You know what?
I think we're all kind of equally yoked in this one. Pretty good. Anybody else want to join the party? You let us know.
Absolutely.
Legacy, and I will get you Matt's cell phone number, and you can have a conversation.
Matt would love to have theological conversations with you.
With random strangers, please.
With random strangers, because I have time
always
with
works
them.
out. Always works
Well,
out
it's
so well.
always good. You know, I've always heard it's the best thing about life is fighting online on Facebook. It's always the best thing. It's been the most productive.
I mean, we've
my
all
life.
changed because of the arguments we've had.
I know.
Right.
On my deathbed, I'll be like, I wish I fought more on Facebook. Anyways. Okay, number 3. What are you currently reading? The Bible or another book? What are you currently reading right now?
I have always in a process of a Bible reading plan. I always use a plan of some kind because it helps me stay on track. And then I just for fun, I like the Gray Man novels by Mark Greaney.
Yes.
I like Lee Child and the Jack Reacher novels. So at night, as I'm trying to go to sleep, I'm reading about people having their necks slit and stuff. You know, so.
It's actually
really
pretty
helpful.
Similar to ministry, just so you know.
Yeah, I think sometimes that's why I'm in it, because I'm like, I have this really sanitized profession where I can't like just lose myself and go rage. You know?
Yes.
So if I read books about that, I'm like, that's how it feels.
It's all good. It's all good.
For some reason, after the board of directors meeting, I read 3 chapters. I don't know why.
And I feel so fulfilled.
I feel so
I sleep
much
like
better.
a baby.
Yeah, they won't do much for your sanctification, but I kind of enjoy getting lost in them.
Oh, that's awesome.
Excellent.
Okay, what's a goal you have for this year?
I want to get fitter. I want to. My physical health is something that's kind of weighing on me. I've done a lot of reading and stuff, and in your 40s, you kind of lay the foundation for your health later in life. And so I don't want to wake up at like 65 and be like, oh no, I got to get started on this. I just want to kind of reorient my regular patterns of sleep, diet, exercise, and Sabbath, and kind of let that carry me. So that's a goal I have.
Well, it's funny you said that because my physical health weighs on me too.
It does.
Dad jokes brought to you by Known Legacy.
Info and Known Legacy. Share your dad jokes. And your theological arguments.
Your theological dad.
And can we talk politics? That'd be fun.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Because religion and politics are great. And they're perfect ideas for Thanksgiving.
Yes.
So let's go into those.
Topic starters given to you by Known Legacy. So what do you think about Trump?
Here's our free downloadable. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, dear goodness. Okay, moving on. Sorry, man. We have derailed this thing. It's on the...
I'm actually enjoying this Fast Five.
I knew you. He hates
not
the
so
fast 5
fast.
normally.
It's
not so fast.
It's fast.
Oh, it's a fruitful 5 though. It's a fruitful 5. No. All right. Anyways, so Matt, number 5, most impactful piece of advice you've ever been given.
Oh, this is so good. Okay, so here's I'm going to give you 2, Bill, and I'm going to cheat. So it's the Fast 6 today.
It's good.
Here we go. Alistair Begg quoted, I think, John Stott, and he said, "You overestimate what you can accomplish in ministry in 1 year, and underestimate what God can do in 5."
Yes.
And so that for
Mm-hmm.
somebody like me, who's kind of a hard charger and foot on the gas at all times, gave me the freedom to slow down and imagine ministry in 5-year increments, not in like 18-month increments. And the Lord's done some really cool stuff in that. And then the other is one of our elders. He's with the Lord now. Bill, you'll remember Claude Hine. But he had like 60 years of gospel ministry experience. And he said to me one day, he said, "Matt, if preachers and shepherds would just take care of the sheep, God will bring the lambs." And just a great reminder that my calling is to tend the flock and trust that healthy sheep will reproduce in their time.
That's good. Wow, you threw a Claude Hine out there for me. You threw back.
I love that guy.
I haven't heard that name in forever. That's awesome.
Yeah, what happened to the name Claude? I feel like we need to resurrect that and make that another popular boy's name.
Next time you and your wife have a baby.
There you go, Travis. You got it.
Negative, Ghost Rider. that flight pattern is full.
Oh, man. Matt, this has been life-giving. Thank you so much for being a part of this today, man. If you're up in the New York area, you need to check out Newtown Road. In fact, we'll have the link to the church in our notes. But, Matt, we're so grateful for you, man. Any final thoughts? I know we kind of gave it to you, but any final thoughts you want to share as we've spurred anything on? Anything you'd like to share about church or anything like that you have coming up?
Yeah, we're real excited, man. We've got a tremendous ministry here in New York. The Lord's doing something pretty wild. I think one of the coolest parts of pastoral ministry is I've learned through the years, and I'm really excited about this coming season. I just want to encourage people that the leadership of the Lord doesn't always come through your slick mission statement and your plan.
Yes.
Like the Spirit just moves among His people and kind of catches you up in it. And we're in a season like that right now at church where, I mean, I'm basically a solo pastor for the last year because we don't have any other staff members, right? And our elders are doing a tremendous job, but we have people coming all the time and staying, and I don't know them, I don't know who they are, I don't know how they got here, and it's a really exciting time because the Lord is doing some really cool stuff, and I just want to encourage, especially men, that the greatest things that God has ever done in my life haven't come according to my plans, but they've come when the Spirit has stepped in, thrown my plan out, and then just kind of awakened something new in me.
Yeah.
That's been really fun.
That's
so good,
awesome,
so
man.
good.
Good stuff today, man. Thank you so much, Matt. We are grateful for you. Again, like I said, we'll put his info at the bottom, and if you have any questions, comments, and concerns, info@knownlegacy. We'd love to connect you to Matt, his church, and we'd love to hear from you as well. So thank you guys so much for listening today. Make sure you share this, like it, man, and check out our upcoming events in the future.
God bless you guys.
Have a great week.
Thanks for listening to the Known Legacy Podcast. We'd love to hear from you, so email us your questions or comments to info@knownlegacy.org.